Well, my family directly descends from both the French and the Spanish Bourbons. House of Bourbon, House of Capet, House of de la Score, House of Guiachut, House of Espinacy, House of Capel. What happened was that we can trace back to a member of the French and Spanish royal family who fought in the American Revolutionary War, and his French name was Michel Antoine Guiachut, I guess. Well, anglicized, that would be Michael Antoine Garou. So his family actually married into the English royal family, and they married into the House of Capel. The House of Capel, they have different titles of nobility and royalty in England still today. This house has a baronetage, as well as a peerage, a royal peerage. So this house has the royal title of Baron of Hadham, Kingdom of England, and Earl of Essex, so an earldom. They also married into the French royal family, the Count of Narcillac du Chastil de Andelot, as well as House of Bourbon, the Duke of Berry. Today we are actually related to the current King of Spain, and he is actually the rightful heir to the title of Duke of Berry, as well as all of the other titles in France, if there was still a kingdom in France, but it's not, it's a republic. His family, Garou's family, fought also in the First and Second French Revolutions, so they instituted the French Republic, and they helped to do away with the tiered estates system in France. So unfortunately, that puts us all in line to several titles of nobility and royalty in France and England today through that bloodline. In addition to that, we also can trace and prove our bloodline to the King of Denmark and Norway, Christian VIII. Christian VIII, he helped to secure Iceland and Greenland and Norway as well. And what happened was that my great-great-grandmother lived on the islands of Bia and Amrum and Zilt in a place called the Frisian Islands. The Frisian Islands are a collection of islands that exist off of the coast of Norway, Denmark, Western Germany, the Netherlands, parts of Belgium, and also on the other side of England. So the Frisian people, they actually detested most other groups of people, and they had something called island life. So you can think maybe like Hawaii, right? the northern islands are still islands, and the lower islands are flooded, so it's more like mush. But the northern islands are in a place called the North Sea coast, as well as in the Atlantic. Not all the way in the Atlantic, but it just depends on how you look at it on the map. The islands have been flooded gradually over the centuries, but they used to sail around on boats called skutsa. They called the boats skutsa, and they would sail from island to island carrying mail and goods and different things like that. They would use the islands also as farmland, and they grew a lot of different kinds of things there. Well, we had traced back to Elise, Christine, and Henrietta Bone, and also Jürgen, Arjen, Rolfs. And what it is that they were living on the islands of Amrum and Fia around the middle of the 19th century. King Christian VIII and his brother, they owned properties on these islands, and it used to get very hot back then, usually into the mid-90s in Fahrenheit degrees. And they would go there in the summertime, and so the islands would reach temperatures of low and mid 90s in Fahrenheit degrees, right? And the royal family would frequent the islands because of the warmth in the summertime, and they would do something that was called like traditional, I forget the name of the word, but it was like windsurfing and different like sports activities, surfing and different things like that. The islands do have surf, and about 100 years ago they had even more surf and you know, whatever. Technically, Heligoland is traditionally a part of the Frisian Islands. So my great-great-grandmother, she spoke the Frisian language of Northern Frisian called Zilter and Amrum Frisian. So the language is actually divided into different like dialects, Northern and Western Frisian, where Northern Frisian supposedly is only spoken by about 10,000 people today. So it's an endangered minority European language. But what happened was that one summer he went to live there, and they lived right down the road from his estate. They owned a cottage and a beach house, as well as several horses and carriages, as well as like some boats, and they were a fisher family. But he commented on her beauty, and he said, "That is the most beautiful woman I have ever seen in my life." And King Christian VIII was a very attractive king. Actually, he was extremely attractive and highly sought after by other European nobles and royals. They all wanted to marry him because of how attractive he was. And he went to stay on the islands, and it says in the book that he eloped with her and had a child, but they did not inherit any legitimate issue because it was not officially sanctioned by the royal family or by the Lutheran Church or by the Catholic Church. He said that she was so beautiful, and he demanded that her beauty and her looks be written down about in several books. So if you find the book called the Lorenz Brehren book, On page number 354, you will find a list of our direct family members on our Rolf's bloodline. And this isn't that far back. This is only 3 to 4 generations back from myself, from my current generation. So it says in the book, and it shows what descendants are named to have been illegitimately conceived. So you have something called legitimate marriage and illegitimate marriage and union. We don't know how many other people he sired illegitimately, but what it is that if someone is illegitimate,